All right, and then I'm going to share it. Where is it? Apparently I'm in a lot of groups on Facebook. There it is. Okay, you ready? Cool. Let's take a second. All right. So I think we are going live now on Facebook, and I welcome anyone that is watching live can join in and ask questions or interact however you would like. But I am Crystal Melanson. I'm a board certified holistic practitioner and functional nutritionist, and I help women and couples maximize and mend their fertility naturally to conceive. And so I'm talking with Christine tonight. And I have known Christine for a long time now, because I realized it's been like over 2 years, 2.5 years or something. So I've known Christine a very long time, and she has a really awesome story. So I wanted her to come on and share that, because I feel it can be very inspirational to other women to hear stories. So I'll just start a little bit from my notes, because I was looking through my notes from when we very first spoke a couple years ago. And when you came to me, you experienced what you thought were 2 miscarriages, and you had very severe period and ovulation pain, a lot of spotting and kind of unexpected bleeding. And those were like your biggest issues and concerns. You were wanting to obviously get pregnant soon, but you weren't feeling very confident in your body moving forward. So I guess before we started working together, what made you seek out, looking for maybe an alternative way to help with this? Or what was your mindset before we started working together?
Yeah, it had been a rough couple years. The first miscarriage happened when I fell down the steps. So it wasn't necessarily anything that went wrong, other than the fall caused it. So that was, I guess, explained in a way. But then I was injured with that. So we waited a really long time to try again because I was injured. I couldn't walk. I was on crutches. So then we started trying again in November. I believe it was November of 2019. We started trying again. And in August of 2020, I still was not pregnant, and I had my annual exam, and I told my OB that we had been trying since November, and she was like, "Oh, it's fine. It hasn't been a year yet. We don't need to worry about anything." And then I told her that I had really severe cramps with my periods, and she goes, "Oh, well, you probably have endo. So let's do surgery. Go talk to my surgery coordinator. Let's get it scheduled." And just like, that was it. Like, no conversation, no like pre-warning. It was just go get this scheduled. And before I left the office that day, I was scheduled for surgery in 5 days.
Wow.
And it was just a lot. I never heard of endo before. Like, she didn't really explain it. So then I had to start looking into it, and just the whole like exploratory surgery thing to see if I have it. And well, this might help you get pregnant. It might not. We might open you up and you don't have it. And then, we'll do something else when it comes to a year. And I don't know, it just all seems very rushed and odd, and not something I wanted to do. So I literally just did not show up the morning of my surgery. Just didn't go. And then actually a few weeks later, I found out I was pregnant. So I think before that, in that time period, I had saw your ad on Facebook and thought, well, hey, this seems like a much better, easier, natural approach to get pregnant versus just surgery. So I believe I reached out to you in that time.
Mhm.
And then I found out I was pregnant. So then I told you, hey, I'm pregnant. I don't need you. Like, I'm good. We're
Yeah.
good. And then I had a miscarriage. So after that, that was like, okay, well, I know my body can get pregnant. I might have endo. I mean, it might be that, it might be something else, but I definitely know that I don't want to do surgery. I definitely know that I didn't get good feelings from my doctor. I didn't feel like she was equipped to help me the way that I wanted to be helped, which was a non-medicine, non-surgery, non-invasive way. I thought that I could give my body a chance to do what it was supposed to do. And if all I had to do was change my diet and do a few things to make myself healthier, then why not try and get healthier in the process? If I didn't get pregnant, then I didn't get pregnant, but at least I got healthier
Mhm.
and gained a better understanding of my body. Um, so that was kind of my thought process going into it with you is, okay, well, I know I can get pregnant. I've been pregnant twice. Um, so something's working, but
Mhm.
something's obviously not working. Um, and this was going to be much better than surgery, cheaper, definitely cheaper, but not just that. It was all of it was just the holistic approach to it to me just made it seem much nicer, I guess.
Yeah. And so, did you have any fears or hesitancies like before we started really getting into things?
Um, I mean, I guess my only fear was giving up the food that I like to eat. That was,
Mhm.
I mean, that was really the
Changing
biggest
your
thing.
diet.
And yeah. And then just getting my husband on board to do the same thing. I mean, the conversations that we had beforehand, he was like, well, I'm not going to give up this, and I'm not going to give up this, and I'm not going to give up this, and I'm not. So that was hard trying to get him on the same page. But I made it very clear that I wasn't going to do this if he wasn't going to do this. Like,
So what changed? How did that shift?
um, multiple conversations with him and making like reminding him that, hey, like you want a baby, like this is what we need to do. And this isn't I'm going to do this by myself because there's two parts to this. We're both going to have a baby. We're both going to be raising a baby. Like I already have to go through the really, really hard part of the pregnancy and the birth. Like I have to do all of that.
Mhm.
So literally all I'm asking you to do is take some pills and change your diet. Like get over it, grow up and do it.
Yeah. So how do you feel now, a couple of years later? Where is he at from that point before? Did you see things shift or change in his attitude
Yeah,
once
yeah,
he started?
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he felt better. I had to keep like reminding him that he felt better because I don't think he like wanted to admit that, hey, I feel better. So I had to like keep pointing out, like, look, like your stomach doesn't hurt tonight. Like
Mhm.
you're doing better. Like this is good for you. um, so yeah,
Oh
I
man.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
So how quickly would you say you started to feel changes after we first started working? So we started with some nutrition changes, some lifestyle habit stuff. Um, I have in my notes, you can confirm if it's true or not. I have in my notes that within about 2 cycles, your ovulation pain was gone and the bloating and digestive stuff greatly reduced. Would you agree with that? Or do you remember how quickly kind of things started to shift?
That's kind of what I was thinking. I want to say, yeah, within 2 cycles, like my period pain was so much improved. I stopped taking my migraine medicine with my periods. The ovulation pain wasn't horrible. So yeah, I mean, within 2 cycles, it was those improvements were worth it for me. Like after that, I was like, okay, like whatever. I don't get pregnant. I don't get pregnant, but like I can function during a period. I can function when I'm ovulating. I don't have migraines. Like, I'm not out of it for multiple days a month because of my period.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. And so do you think that helped like with the eating changes then? Like sticking with that once you started kind of seeing it pay off a little bit, was that a motivator or?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely helped me keep going. Knowing that all I have to do is eat like this and I can function and I feel better. That definitely helped me keep going through it. Like, anytime we were out and about and someone had, you know, I don't know, whatever it was that I wanted, a hamburger, probably like, I knew, well, if I have that, then I'm going to feel bad
Yeah.
and I'll likely go down a spiral and want a hamburger tomorrow and then want Jimmy John's after that. So knowing how I felt after I gave up all that stuff made it so much easier to not go back to it.
And so would you say then it's been over 2 years, right? Would you say some of that stuck, like become just kind of your lifestyle, or has it shifted?
It's shifted, but not a complete shift. So during my pregnancy,
Yeah, well, we should
um,
say that you did get pregnant. So
I
we'll
did
talk
get
about
pregnant.
that. You did get pregnant, you have
Yes.
a baby now. We'll get into
I
that.
do. Yeah. Um, so that's probably when the dietary stuff shifted. Um, I was craving dairy. Like, I mean, I was having dreams about dairy.
Yeah.
Like, all
Pregnancy
I could,
is all different. Yeah.
yeah, all I could think about was cheese. It was like on my brain 24/7. Um, and with like all of my food sensitivities, we talked about it and we thought, well, maybe like the pregnancy could, maybe I need the dairy and maybe it could, be helping to kind of fix that sensitivity. So I was able to successfully put cheese back into my diet and I've had no, um,
You healed your gut.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have no inflammation from it. Like, I feel fine when I eat cheese now. Um,
It's awesome.
I I didn't go back to gluten.
Mhm.
Number one, because I was scared if I healed my gut and I could have gluten, then I would eat a Whopper and a Jimmy John sandwich every day during my pregnancy. And I didn't
Was
want
that
to do
worth it?
that.
So you
So
got, so you got pregnant. So that was, I guess, tell us about when that happened, when you got pregnant.
so we had been working together. Gosh, when did I get pregnant? It was August. So we started in December
We
of
started, yeah, it was
2020.
like no December, very beginning of December. We started working for a few months. I have a quote actually from one of your calls where you said you always felt that your body wasn't in the best state to support a pregnancy, but you never put a lot of thought to it. But you said you started thinking about things more and things started clicking more, and you realized you wanted to really work on that preparation phase for a bit before really actively trying again. And I think that was in the spring or so.
Yeah, yeah. So we kind of took a step back and did like a much deeper dive into my gut,
We
more
did some
testing.
testing. Hmm.
And I mean, all of that led to a lot of answers and more dietary changes, and more supplements. And I mean, that's what eventually led me to get pregnant. That like second phase, that we worked together,
Hmm.
where we had been trying and it still wasn't working. And then we were like, okay, like, let's do some more.
Yeah, you started with just some of the habit changes, right? And then you wanted to take the deeper look to get some more answers through the functional testing. So, if people aren't familiar, that testing is different from what you get at a conventional doctor. We're looking a lot more thoroughly, a lot deeper at like what the root causes could be, your hormones, your digestion. Got some answers as to how we could shift how you were eating and the supplements you were taking to be more personalized to your needs. So then that was kind of the second phase where we had your first foundational stuff of habit changes, and then we took it a little bit deeper with the second stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, all of that was just mind blowing because I mean, I remember after doing like the first phase with you and I was still just like nauseous after I ate, and then finding out that I was sensitive to like all of the foods in my diet.
And you had some gut
Um,
infections.
Yep. Yeah, there was lots going on. So that really, really helped. And then we kind of took like a month off. We went to Florida for our honeymoon for like a 4-day getaway, and decided while we were there, we were going to pay for this like super fancy dinner on the beach, like private dinner out on the beach. And I was like freaking out because I mean, this is like a $300 meal. And I'm like, I can't eat anything. I can't drink the wine. Like, we're paying for the wine and I can't drink it. So we kind of made a decision before we went that we were going to be a little lax on
Have
our
some
diet.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and have some fun. So I still didn't eat the main things. Like, I still didn't eat gluten. I still didn't eat dairy. I still didn't eat soy or corn. But I had dessert. They gave me like a sorbet. So I had some sugar, and I had one alcoholic beverage a day. And then we decided, we're going to go like a whole month and just like kind of like come back and just like detox from that, like go really back hard into it and eliminate everything from our diet. And then we'll try again for the next cycle. So then I remember talking to you one night and I was like, Crystal, I had some spaghetti sauce and it had onion powder in it. And I'm clearly not healed. I clearly still can't eat onions. And I was really, really sick. And you were like, are you sure it was the spaghetti sauce?
I don't think it's the spaghetti sauce, Christine.
Like, yes, it was definitely the spaghetti sauce, because we had been making our own spaghetti sauce and I went crazy and had the one from the jar. It's definitely the spaghetti sauce, Crystal. And then the next morning I was positive for my little baby. So it was not the spaghetti sauce.
Funny.
So yeah, we did not take time off, clearly, like we had planned.
Well, and that was part of it too. And what we tried to really make clear is that it doesn't have to be like an on off, right? Like, you made some foundational changes where, you were doing the work, and sometimes it was more intense than others, but you still were listening to your body and understood what it needed and was able to shift through that. So it wasn't like you just stopped doing everything, and, you were able to really shift with what your needs were. And that was partly just, what you were doing with your husband and the travel and really working through that, because that's what life is, right? You have to be able to make changes that stick with your life.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we didn't want to go on this vacation and just like be scared because we couldn't eat anything, like we still wanted to be able to enjoy ourselves and drink some wine. And I mean, if I'm not on the beach with the pina colada in my hand, like, I don't feel like it's a vacation. So
So how do you think then, preparing for your pregnancy, doing this work before you got pregnant, do you feel, or how do you feel maybe it affected your pregnancy, your postpartum? Do you think it had like lasting effects through that?
definitely. I mean, like I said, I stuck with the majority of the dietary restrictions, or not restrictions, but the dietary changes throughout my pregnancy, with the exception of cheese. And every now and then I would crave chips and salsa from Mexican, and I allowed myself to have corn chips and not take my own grain-free chips with me. I was pregnant, like, I'm going to give myself what I want occasionally. So, I mean, I didn't feel horrible throughout the whole pregnancy, like I think I would have if I would have been eating how I was eating beforehand. So I mean, I definitely think that helped keep me healthy throughout the pregnancy. I knew just from talking to you, like, how to take care of my body and what I could take and the supplements to start taking and the exercises and stretches and everything to start doing. You knew going into it, like, I wanted a natural birth. That was my goal. You helped me get there. You helped me prepare for that. So I definitely do not think that my pregnancy would have gone the way it did and my birth would have gone the way that it did if me and you didn't have this relationship and we hadn't done the foundational changes and then the continued lifestyle changes and working with you throughout my pregnancy. I mean, truly believe that that's what got me to the labor and delivery that I wanted.
That's awesome that you got that. Now you have a
Yes.
beautiful boy.
Yep.
Crazy house
Yeah,
of boys you have.
I do. Lots of boys.
Awesome. Well, any other thoughts, any other points that you feel like you want to make?
I mean, thank you. Thank you for working with me for the past, what do you say, it was a little over 2 years at this point, for the changes that you've helped me make and for helping me get my little baby. I mean,
Yeah.
I have told you before, it's all because of you, and it really
Well,
is.
you did the work. You did the work. I helped guide, but I'm proud of you and everything that you did.
Yeah, it was definitely worth it. And I will still say a whole lot easier than a more modern medicine approach, in my opinion. I mean,
We're glad you didn't show up for that surgery.
I'm so glad I didn't show up for that surgery. I also never went back to that doctor. So
Yeah. Done with that
yes,
one.
yes, definitely.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. I appreciate you willing to share your story with everyone, and I know they'll get a lot out of it.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, for anyone who is considering it, like just do it. Um, my mindset going into it, like I said to you all, like even if I didn't get pregnant, I was going to get healthy. And that was huge for me. It was huge for me to have better periods, to not feel the ovulation pain. Like it was just, it's huge. And I know now, like I've once again gotten a little slack with it, but I know what I need to do to get my body back to that point, and I know what I need to do to get pregnant again.
You have the
So
education now.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So it was worth it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Christine. I'm going to pop off, but if anyone has any other questions, they can comment below and we can answer them later if they have any questions that come up.
Yes, of course.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Um,